Big thanks to Dirt Track for that subscription. Are you guys ready? Yeah, alright. I'm seeing people starting to stack up. I see Dice Ogre, I see Dirt Track Chick. Who else is out there tonight? Don't be shy, don't be lurking. Even if you are lurking, just say hi. Got a text from Lost Polymath on the Discord. Libations have started. I know you guys are getting this going. Going to be giving away a Tasha's Cauldron of Everything tonight. Make sure you tell everybody you know. Get them in here. Going live in 1 minute. We're getting started. Something fierce. Got some great feedback from the chat. I'm seeing the energy already starting there. I'm excited. So we got a lot to talk about today. Hey, Dirt Track Chick. Good to see you. Hey, Dice Ogre. Hey, Lost Polymath. Everybody, God, it's so good to see all you guys today. So if this is your first time watching, hey, 73556MO8. Good to see you. Yes, my mug is epic. Thank you so much. It's needing some shaving, but not too bad today. So, welcome to the Games Tavern Happy Hour, where a bunch of us nerds get together and talk about tabletop gaming news, reviews, and interviews. Hopefully about the things that you guys want to hear about. So, all about the tabletop space. So, all right. So glad to have you guys joining us tonight. If this is your first time watching, don't forget to follow us on the Games Tavern's Twitch channel. It's free. It supports the cast and crew and helps us get the word out. If you have Amazon Prime, you also get a free Prime Gaming subscription, which you can use to show your support to the cast and crew. Prime Gaming subscribers get more access to emotes on our channel and also access to a special subscriber-only Discord channel. Remember, you can watch us live on Twitch every Tuesday, and all shows are uploaded to YouTube typically about 48 hours later, so you can catch up on all the interviews and reviews as well that you may have missed. All right, let's go through some quick announcements. Whoa, what did I just do there? Did some magic here on the screen. I don't want to mess that up. Let's shift that over there a little bit here. So just a big thank you to all of our sponsors who helped us last month and into this month. Check them out when you get a chance. They are awesome. D&D Beyond for also sponsoring today's giveaway with Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Incarnate, which creates some of the best web-based map-making tools for the TTRPG and tabletop game players alike. Great for making prop maps as well as for battle maps. Check them out when you get a chance. And then Talon and Claw, which is amazing accessories for the discerning player or dungeon master at the tabletop. So everything from amazing DM screens to fantastic dice vaults and other goodies on down the line. And then also thank you to Overhead Games, which makes the epic character generator. If you need avatars for your games, check out overheadgames.com. Give them a shot. I think you'll like what they have to do. So big thanks to our sponsors. All right, so tonight's giveaway, we're giving away Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the latest source book released by Wizards at Dungeons & Dragons. The raffle for the package will begin shortly, and we will continue to take entries until the end of the show when we pick the winner. So details on how to enter when we hit the break, and you'll see it in chat. So be watching chat when you get a chance too. Nice mug. Oh, my mug. Oh, yeah, my drinking horn. Thanks for the heads up on that. Just one last little tidbit. I got interrupted by chat. That's my fault. The contest is limited to those in the U.S. and Canada except Quebec. Sorry, Quebec. I don't know what you did, but it was probably not very good. The cast and crew of the Games Tavern are also not eligible. Thank you for following X3NOMorph _006. Thank you so much for following us tonight. You must also be a follower to enter and to win. All right, let's see here. checking through some things. All right, well, let's transfer over to the news and let's see what we got tonight. Alrighty, let's check through some stuff here. Let's make sure we've got it all good to go. All right, looks good from here. All right, well, welcome back to the news as we get started here today. So, first, again, a big thank you to our sponsors here at the Games Tavern Happy Hour. And, hey, man, it's Zeta. Finally decided to crawl out from my vent. Oh, hey, Zeta, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. We're just talking tabletop news. Happy to have you join in. All right, so getting started. First, a couple things. Our sponsors, again, we've mentioned them earlier. Please give them a check out when you get a chance. All right, let's start with D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond is doing some really cool stuff here as they've just loaded Tasha's Cauldron of Everything Rangers updates. Hold on one second. There we go. Boom. This is really cool because the new Ranger updates were already pretty awesome with Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We've been really excited seeing that, and we've talked a little bit about that in the past and on our Discord. When you get a chance, take a look at it. Go on to D&D Beyond. I think what you're going to find out is they've updated the Ranger class with all the additional options from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. This is kind of a dev update because they had to make some adjustments to what was the Ranger before, and you're going to have to go in if you have any Ranger character sheets and make some adjustments yourself. If you got a Ranger character, you're going to need to spend a few seconds repicking your favored foe, and then everything will display correctly. Per D&D Beyond, any Rangers from 1st through 5th level will need to reselect the additional language that's associated with your favorite enemy, and Rangers who are 6th or higher level will need to reselect the additional language associated with your 1st level pick of favorite enemy. And then you'll need to reselect the favorite enemy and associated language granted at 6th level and 14th level if relevant. So, yeah, it's time to go check out Rangers. Hey, Lost Bound Math, glad to have you joining in. Rangers are absolutely cool now. Nothing else is really going to be changed on your character sheet, and once you repick those options in the character builder, your favored enemy or foe will display fully and correctly per D&D Beyond. So we've already clicked through on our Rangers that we have on our character sheets. I'm pretty excited about the changes and the updates. I'm sure you guys will be too. So check that out when you get a shot, okay? Next up, one of the things we're most excited about is Green Ronin. As you know, Green Ronin has put together quite a bit of updated books and adventures and everything that are third party for, well, just some of the best production level stuff you've ever seen. What they've just created was Green Ronin's Lost Citadel role-playing. It's really, I don't know, it's probably one of the most fantastic concepts I think I've heard in role-playing that has some staying power and some replayability. So the Lost Citadel is a transmedia setting, so basically it can go across different media sets that exist simultaneously as gaming, art, fiction, music, other things too. And the role-playing setup is Green Ronin's full faith effort to bring the world of the Lost Citadel to the newest edition of the world's most popular role-playing game, 5th edition. So welcome to dark fantasy gaming experience that's probably a little different from what you've probably seen for the most part already. In this setting, you play as one of the only remaining groups of people alive after an undead apocalypse has brought global civilization to a dark and bloody end. Essentially, something went wrong, and the zombie apocalypse happened all over the world at once. There's only one city left, the city of Redoubt, where all of what's remaining of civilization has gathered, all the different cultures and people that are left. So this is a beautifully illustrated book. It provides everything you'll need to experience the Lost Citadel through the lens of the world's most popular role-playing game. And in this book, you'll find the once proud history, races, religions, and cultures of the world of Zaleska and how they fell as, well, the dead rose. There's detailed coverage of the inner workings of the factions, the politics, the geographical locations within the last city. Each district comes with its own adventure hook sidebar, which we really appreciate. There are new classes, feats, items, and rules for use with 5th edition, including a new subsystem called Woe. There's a host of new undead with which to test your character's wits and will. Will they face down the horror of a grim aggregate, the terror of a forlorn child, or even the power of a mighty malevolent itself? There's also a full-color, double-sided poster map of Redoubt, the city, and its surrounds, courtesy of gifted map makers Andrew Law and Jared Blando, which you've seen their stuff in many other books of note as well. And there's original fiction by award-winning dark fantasist Elizabeth Hand. This is now from Green Ronin Publishing, the Lost Citadel role-playing. Check it out. I put the link in chat. I think you guys will find that to be quite an interesting series. We're very excited to see it. Chaosium also has some really cool updates today. They have a new book coming out. So best-selling author M.T. Black is now writing for the Miskatonic Repository. The Room with No Doors. So when Hannah Flynn buys a new house in Arkham, she encounters nothing but tragedy and misfortune. She hires the characters to investigate, and they uncover the grim history of the residents before confronting the nightmare secret. So The Room with No Doors is the first Miskatonic Repository creation by the best-selling DM's Guild author M.T. Black. If you haven't seen some of his other works, I highly recommend you look up his name on DM's Guild. The Room with No Doors is a 3 to 6 hour Call to Cthulhu adventure. It's 28 pages long, including 9 handouts and a map. You can't beat some of these handouts. You got to check them out when you get a chance. It's definitely worth it. I think you'll find it to be exciting. Dice Ogre, what do you got there? You ran a custom setting like this for a one-shot in the sense the world's last city. It's an interesting premise. I agree. Okay. Anything on the new Chaosium Arkham Call of Cthulhu, The Room with No Doors? No worries. We'll move along. All right. Paizo has probably got some of the coolest news we've heard in a while. In a long period of time of things that have gone, this year being tough for everyone, there's a really good spot of good news here. Paizo, is about to release some minis early, it seems to be. So Mark Moreland at Paizo just revealed that Pathfinder Battles Darklands Rising, the booster packs, originally announced for April 2021 release, are actually going to be in and ready for release in January, according to WizKids. So for the first time ever, in addition to the expected three small or medium figures that make up the bulk of each set, each Darklands Rising booster will contain either a huge or 2 large figures. Normally you only get 1 large figure, but instead they're going to do 2 large figures. And it's because of that bad boy in the middle. And let me get to this bad boy in the middle here. Let me make sure I do this right here. Make sure that you guys can see it properly. It's this beast right here in the middle. This one right here. This guy is the Adamantine Golem. And this is only just a few of the miniatures that are available. This whole set is amazing, but this bad boy in the middle is unbelievably thick. And because of that, it's got quite a bit of heft to the weight to it. And that alone caused a lot of changes in how they're doing. Whoa, what do we have there? Created quite a few changes in terms of how they had to do it, because it was so heavy that everyone would know if that was what was in there. And they still want you to have that surprise with those boosters. So because of those surprises and how they're doing that, they're now, whoa, what's going on here? They had to do something to change all that. And so their answer to that was, well, let's just put in some extra minis. So it's because of its unusual weight, the extra minis are now going in there. If you have not checked out all the different miniatures in there, they've got quite a few of these distorted, nasty looking creatures in there that have ring stuff. Like they're like flesh warped. There's some just sickly looking creatures. But of note, on the right, you'll see, and the size does not do it justice, that gold dragon is spectacular. It is a ancient gold dragon, or gargantuan. It's huge, or large, whatever you want to call the size class. It's massive in size, and it's supposed to be one of the best gold dragons they've ever produced. So when you get a chance, get a good look at that bad boy. Okay. Moving forward a little bit here. Very excited about this one. This next one is the Krampus re-release. Reaper really outdid themselves. So they originally created this one in 2019. It's sculpted by Jason Weeb. It's one of the best ones out there, I think, that we've seen in a long time. It's lavish with details. It's perfect for your holiday-themed games or your games with the big bad evil bad guy as the centerpiece for your dioramas. It's a 28mm miniature. Great choice to get for the mini painter or the game master who wants some theme for their games possibly this year as well. So when you get a chance, definitely check that out on the Reaper. It's on the December releases. Definitely worthwhile. Krampus, the evil demon creature. Definitely give it a shot. All right. And making its first appearance, I think, on the show in a long time, period, really, is Fantasy Flight Games. So Fantasy Flight Games is releasing some new Armada packs when you get a chance. Check out the new ones. Specifically, there's the Galactic Republic Fleet Starter. Checking some of my notes on this. I really am excited about this. It lays the foundation for your Galactic Republic fleets. It gives you an Acclimator class assault ship and 2 powerful Consular class cruisers. It's joined by 4 squadrons of V-19 Torrent starfighters, flown by crack clone pilots ready to defend the fleet, and up to 20 upgrade cards allow you to customize every aspect of your ships with iconic officers and powerful weapons. The Republic also gets some fighter squadrons in an expansion pack. You get some additional agility from the Delta 7 Aether Sprites to bombard enemy capital ships with BTLB Y-Wings. And you also have some more battlefield control with heavy ARC 170 starfighters. And you can escort them with some more V-19 Torrents. So the expansion box adds 8 Republic fighter squadrons to your fleets, including 7 additional elite pilots that you can add. I'm still seeing some background chat on Krampus. I knew it. I'll show it again in a little bit for you guys if you want. Additionally, the Separatists get some additional stuff too. The Fleet Starter gets you some building blocks for your own Separatist fleet. You get a Munificent class frigate and 2 Hard Cell class transports. The ships are supplemented by 4 squadrons of Vulture class droid fighters ready to swarm their enemies. In addition to these miniatures, 6 ship cards are coming with this that allow you to choose the exact models, and you get 20 upgrade cards to fine-tune your ships with even more iconic officers, powerful weapons, and more. And with that, it also reveals the Separatist Fighter Squadrons expansion pack, because, you're going to have one. You got to have an expansion pack to add to your fighters. So you get an expansion of Vulture droids, Haida bombers, and droid tri-fighters, as well as the Belbalob 22 starfighter to launch all sorts of additional devastating attacks. And it adds, essentially 8 Separatist fighter squadrons to your fleet, including 6 additional elite pilots. So something else to check out. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right. Games Workshop. Games Workshop is, they got a new batch of pre-orders up in their website this week. Very exciting to see their Dire Chasm, the Warhammer Underworld's Dire Chasm big box expansion. And there's a couple different variations on this. They've got the entire Under the Mountain series, which comes with a whole bunch of extra stuff. But this is the key box set. It's the Competitors Miniatures game with the Warhammer Underworld's Dire Chasm core set. You can play this, all sorts of stuff. Inside, you'll find everything you need to start gaming in the depths of part of the Beast Grave known as Dire Chasm. This is Season 4 of the Warhammer Underworld series. It's fantastic to check out. It It can be played as a standalone game or added to the other Warhammer Underworld series. It comes with 2 complete warbands worth of amazingly detailed miniatures, which you've come to expect from Games Workshop, rule books, dice, cards, tokens, and 2 double-sided boards that you can actually play on. So something to check out when you get a chance. I linked that in the chat so you guys can see that one for yourself. All right, and then to finally round out tonight's news, we're adding some board games. Now, this board game isn't necessarily a new release, but what it is noticeably is the top choice currently on Board Game Geek for holiday gifts that they've mentioned. It's the highest rated one. It's The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. So The Quest for Planet 9 is a rather interesting set. It's an award-winning cooperative trick-taking game. The players set out as astronauts on an uncertain space adventure. I kind of like that. The eventful journey has over 50 missions, but the game only gets won by meeting the common individual tasks of each and every player. Whoa! Thank you, whoever that was, for the anonymous cheer, for donating 5 Tier 1 subs to the community. Huge thanks. Big thanks to everybody. Wow, kind of lost my track there. I'm just taken aback. Thank you so much. With as each of the individual tasks of each player has to be fulfilled in order to win each mission, communications is important, and each of the varied challenges in space become more and more difficult as each mission gets put through. And other key things to this is, as each mission becomes more difficult, what you'll learn in each mission is it's not the amount of tricks that you have, but the right tricks at the right time that count. Again, after each mission, the game can be paused and continued later, but the communications is absolutely essential for success. The game comes with 50 missions, plus 3 additional missions that were published in Spielbox of February 2020. So the replay value for this is absolutely very high. 53 different missions. I think you'll be playing this quite a few times. And as you learn to play this, going back and playing them again, you'll find successive opportunities to do things differently. So very excited about this one. All right. And checking to see if we got anything else to talk about. Oh, we do. May have to do some magic here. Alrighty, and finally, Marvel Contest of Champions Battle Realm. You guys are going to want to check this out. This is actually absolutely the coolest thing going. I don't know about that, but it's definitely really, really cool. It has, let me pull up my notes on this one. I was very impressed with it, to say the least. So it has an awesome lineup of your favorite Marvel superheroes, which, as you know, is absolutely one of the coolest intellectual properties out there right now. You can have Black Panther, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, the Hulk, and just a whole bunch of other ones. You get 40 different locations to play your game in, only some of which you can use during a single game, so there's a lot of replay value as you get different ones. And some of the locations are amazing, like the Arcane Arena, the Wakandan Necropolis, the Avengers Tower, and the Savage Lands. And each Battle Realm location has a separate PvP award that a champion earns for moving to that location, and a special ability that can be used by the champions beginning their turn in that Battle Realm location. It's a pretty cool board game. The game is for 3 to 6 players, 13 champions to choose from, 40 different location tiles, and the artwork comes directly from the mobile game of the same name. So Marvel Contest of Champions Battle Realm from Upper Deck is definitely a game to check out when you get a chance. And that clears out our stuff for the day. Hold on one second here. All right, cool. Video mode, and boom. So that clears out everything. That's the notes, that's the news for what's going on in tabletop right now. Action Sturge, JS Army 421, good to see you guys today. Man, huge thanks to everybody out there for the big support today. Really appreciate that. Excited to see everybody in there cheering us up on chat. Again, JS Army 421, you mentioned that you were worried about missing something. Well, I've got some great news for you. You're not going to miss anything, because if you go to YouTube in approximately 48 hours, this episode will be posted on YouTube, and you can see all that information there. Or you can check out our Twitch channel for video on demand and check us out again right after that. So no problems. Okay, so this is a good time to get started with our excitable giveaway here. Let's go ahead and get that pushed out here. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Here we go. So that's going to be live right now as we speak. So switching back in. So this is as good a time as anything for us to take a quick 2-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to do some quick advertising from our sponsors. But when we come back, we're going to show the interview with Miguel from MZ4250. I think you guys are going to like what he has to say. Let's see here. For the giveaway, you'll type exclamation Cauldron to enter to win. So be sure and type in, what happened there? It messed up. Hold on one second. We're going to get this fixed. Cancel, confirm. What happened? Let's make sure the settings are correct. Yeah. Okay, now we'll start that giveaway. We'll get this fixed. No, it's not giveaway. It's exclamation Cauldron. So exclamation Cauldron, get your entries in. Please get those entries in right away. Punch in those entries, exclamation Cauldron, and you will be entered in. I'm seeing the entries start to stack in. Make sure you guys get those in there. Get them all up. Get them in. All right. I'm in. Yeah, you're in. All right, guys. We're going to switch over to break real quick, and then we'll be right back.
Have you ever needed quality images of characters for your games or stories, but couldn't find the time or assets to create them? Epic Character Generator comes to your rescue with lots of features. After launching the program, you can select a base character to start working on. Just pick a wardrobe and begin customizing it. At any time, you can jump to the settings to turn other packs on and use their content on your character too. There are certain items which not always fit together nicely. You can use the toggle feature to decide whether these items should be on top or on the bottom. You can use the coloring tool to give your items a unique look. A few items can deform the base body in a minor way, and others can make huge changes. How about moving around some decorations in the background? Or even the whole character to find the perfect composition? You can save your character as a data file and load it back later to continue editing it. You can export your character as a PNG image with a background selected from the program, or choose a transparent one. You can use it later in any environment. So, have you crafted your first character already? Epic Character Generator, now available on Android.
Hey, gang. So we're back. We're going to be going into an interview with Miguel from MZ4250. And hey, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you type questions with all caps, that lets us know you have a question that we can identify quickly and get to. So if you get a chance, type question in all caps, and that helps us spot questions that we can answer as well. All right. So if you have any questions about anything we talked about at any point in time, just type question really loud, really big like that, and we'll get to those questions as quickly as possible. Awesome to get a chance to do this. But so we were uniquely lucky a little ways earlier to get an interview with Miguel from MZ4250. He is one of the most prolific artists out there making sculpts in a digital format. All I can tell you is you guys are going to be in for a treat. If you're interested in digital sculpting, you guys are going to get to see some stuff from him. And, well, I'll let him speak for himself on that. So here we go. We're gonna transition here right into this. And, well, give it a watch. Okay. Well, welcome to the Games Tavern Happy Hour. I have with me Miguel. From his Patreon, you may have expressed at MZ4250. Miguel is one of the most prolific sculpting artists in 3D digital imagery that you'll ever see. And he has a wonderful Patreon. And he was kind enough to allow us some time with him today to kind of talk to him about his journey and about, who he is in general. So, Miguel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, hey, so where are you? I ask this of every person we talk to. Where in the world are you talking to us from today?
Right outside of DC,
Okay.
in Northern Virginia,
Okay.
and talk from my house, and it's nice. There's
Oh,
trees and
outstanding.
nature. It's very nice. Yeah,
Yeah, well, we know Northern Virginia very well. We're also local to that area, so it's
nice.
good to find out you're also a local.
Yep.
Did you? So I guess let's just start in and ask you about you and kind of keep it free form conversation. So, were you always living in this area of Northern Virginia, DC area, or where are you from originally?
No, I was born in Jersey, right outside of Newark, Brick City. What? I lived most of my life in Jersey, right up until mid-20s. Once I finished my master's, I moved to New Hampshire, and following that, down to Virginia when I got some jobs in DC. So yeah, it's pretty much my area. It's just right on the East Coast. Yeah.
Okay. What brought you to the area?
It was a job at the State Department,
Oh.
and then a job at the EPA, and you know how government is, you just jump around all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just regular DC work that brought me down here.
And of course, the hate for the DC area traffic.
Yeah, that's a whole other stream right there.
Yeah. Well, so you didn't grow up in the area, but you've made a lot of travels, and you went to school in various different places. And were you always an artist type, or did you kind of grow into that over time, or?
Yeah, no, ever since I was a toddler, just drawing and doodling away. Once I got into grade school, I was the art person in the class. High school, same thing. Got my degree in art, in fine arts, with a focus on 3D animation, 3D modeling. I mean, it's just always been my thing, and now it's really my thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what did you start with in terms of like art as a young person? How did that journey go for you?
Yeah.
Fill out the details for us.
Sure. So, I mean, like I always just loved drawing. If it wasn't, drawing stick figures, eventually became dinosaurs and Godzilla and things like that, and Star Wars ships and stuff. And, I just always enjoyed drawing. Eventually, when I got to college and I learned how to, really refine my skill, I really fell in love with 3D art. And I knew that I wanted to do something with 3D art, whether it be animation, film, video games, or something, as I started learning my skills. And Yeah, I took once I graduated from college, like I started working in the New York side of the 3D world, which is focused on a lot of uh, advertisements, the advertising business.
Hmm.
Did that for a little bit, but then it kind of like made me not want to be a part of it after a while because that industry in the New York side, like they do amazing work and it's like it's so detailed and so in depth, but it's for commercials that are on for like a week and then it's gone. So it's like all of those months of work and it's just forgotten and it's just recycled.
Hmm.
And it just felt very empty. So then I just decided, you know what? I'm in the service, might as well use it. So uh, got my master's in international relations, focused on a government career, focused on the army, things like that. And yeah, it wasn't until about 6 years ago that my now wife recommended to me, hey, you love D&D. There's this thing called 3D printing. You can make your own minis. Like, what do you think about that? And of course, at the time, because I never listened to her initially, I'm just always like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, art is dead to me forever.
You fool.
I know. I should have listened to her. But she basically grabbed me by the ear, kicking and screaming, into the DC library to take a course on 3D printing. And yeah, I just went from there. Like I was hooked, and she was right. She's still right. I love you. She's on the other
See.
room. But
And your
but
wife is
yeah.
actually one of your biggest champions, I know, because
Oh,
I've seen her post on social media as well.
oh yeah. No, she's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's art got rejuvenated 6 years ago, and I started posting things on Reddit. And like the first thing I posted was this little black dragon, and then this little blue dragon, and Reddit just loved it. So I was just
Hmm.
like, well, you know what? Why not make the whole monster manual? I'm already here. So I did that, and then I
Wow.
kept doing that, and I kept making all the other D&D books, and about 12 books later, I'm like still going at it and loving it. So art has definitely evolved from just a little kid drawing dinosaurs to actually making three-dimensional things that can be printed and enjoyed by pretty much everybody. So it's kind of nice.
Oh, that's outstanding and very exciting. You mentioned in passing you were in government and in the service. So that means you were in the army. And you
Hmm.
spent some time in the army. And has any of that influenced your art in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, actually. So 21 years of service, almost all of it is reserve components. So it was
Mhm.
National Guard, it was reserves, and four MOSs from artillery to being a medic, infantry officer, civil affairs. Like, good lord. But the military, like my army background, what it gave me was just a nice regimented work ethic that I think really helped with getting to where I am today. Because as soon as I became this self-employed 3D artist, like people who become self-employed, like the trope is like, oh, you just wake up whenever you want, you don't, maybe you work on Wednesday and then leave it at that or something. Like, no, that's not how I'm built. Like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
wake up, I wake up at 6, I'm gonna go work out. After I work out, make a quick meal, and then knock out 8, 10 hours of work. And then when you're done with the day, make sure you report to your CO what you did. But in this case, it's not my CEO, it's my patron. So I make sure at least a daily post on this is what I made today, so to make sure that your investment is actually worthwhile. And yeah, it's a very regimented mindset
Mhm.
and work ethic that has definitely helped make sure that my skill and my skill doesn't like go away, obviously, and I make sure
Mhm.
that I'm as prolific as I can be. Like it's ingrained in my head that like you need to show what you did today, buddy, because they're investing in you, and it's never going to go away, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of thing that happens with an executive officer a lot too. Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, I've been an XO many
yeah,
a time. I
yeah.
know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed that you grab the bull by the horns there with that. So you essentially transitioned from government work and reserve component army. You've since moved on, retired from the army reserves. You've moved forward to a full time job as a digital artist that is self supporting.
Yep.
And that's not something that you did all at once. You didn't just stop. and say, boom, and start from scratch. You've been building this up over a while now.
Oh yeah, yeah. If any artist who thinks that they could just jump into something and just be like, self-sustaining the next day is taking something, because this was a process that took years and years to develop. So about 6 years ago, like I said earlier, like was when it all started, but I started building a name for myself online, through various aspects of social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, obviously. And I built a name for myself, and I kept building on a fan base of just what I was doing. It wasn't my end goal to get to where I am today. But it sure as hell helped, because 2 years ago, when I found out about Patreon and I set it up, because of the 4 years of me just posting things online, sharing things for free, when I created a Patreon, there was a fan base already there that immediately was like, hey, let's support this guy. This guy's great. And, it wasn't immediately a self-sustaining thing either. Like, it took a year of just doing what I'm doing now for the Patreon to become a self-sustaining thing that I could actually consider leaving my government job. And that was obviously a really big decision to make, because it's like, oof, okay. First off, for those of you who don't know government work, it can be very predictable at times, sometimes a little soul-sucking, but it can be very predictable, very controlled, and it's really hard for you to get fired. So to sacrifice that level of security for something that you don't even know, like, what's going to happen, like, the next month, for all you know, next month, the Patreon CEO is just like, you know what? I support selling children. Let me tell you why. It's like, whoa, everything, and it's gone.
Yeah,
Everything's
Patreon's
done.
canceled at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it was a gamble, but I reached the point where the Patreon was actually capable of paying the bills. And I thought, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's do this. So I put in a 3-week resignation notice at my job. And it was a good job. I mean, like, I worked at the EPA, by the way. It was a nice, just normal office job.
Up in Maryland?
No, in
DC.
Yeah, it actually was like right outside DC, in the Crystal City area.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, it was. But I had a good job. I had a good boss. Everything was fine, and I left on a nice high standing. I'm pretty sure if this failed, I could probably get a job there again. It wouldn't be that hard. But yeah, I put in that notice. Halloween 2019 was my last day at work. I was dressed as Godzilla too, so that was kind of a nice way to remember my last day at work. Yeah, like the big T-Rex costume. They make a Godzilla version of that. So
oh really?
I was walking around the office in a Godzilla costume. It was awesome. But but yeah, it's been now over a year doing the Patreon thing as my sole form of income. I'm not exactly buying any Rolls Royces anytime soon.
No.
But it's sustainable. It's fine. We're making do. It's a little nerve-wracking at times, because it's like every month is always different. You never actually know how much you're gonna make until the 5th, and then it's either, okay, let's be careful this month, or hey, okay, we're fine. It's good.
We can buy more Top Ramen.
Yeah, I know. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but
can you hold on 1 second here?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
So moving forward, like you've been, so about how often are you cranking out new miniatures? Like I've seen you work where you've literally started that day and ended that day with a beautiful new piece. It seems like, for me, I mean, obviously not a massive dragon, but a single miniature for like either a character or a monster. I've seen some amazing stuff.
Yeah. So I usually create Monday through Friday. About every day, I'd say at least 2, maybe 3 miniatures. My goal is to have at least 2 or 3 created, but if I can have at least one that's like a really nice piece, I'm satisfied with that too. The thing that helps with my workflow is the fact that the things that I'm focusing on creating, they're ultimately supposed to be about that big.
Mm-hmm.
And while I try to get details down to at least like, like lines in hair or like scales on skin, you don't have to get so detailed to the point where like you're trying to make like the irises and eyes and things like that or sweat glands. And because you don't have to get to that level of detail, it can be a very refined process. So I'm usually able to pump out 2 or 3 minis a day. And now that we have like, resin printers, obviously the details still needs to be pretty respectable. But yeah, no, I've definitely refined my process and definitely know how to crank something out pretty quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's usually what my goal is, 2 or 3.
Okay. Would you say that, because you mentioned your workflows and stuff like that. How much did you? Because it's one of the things that we notice is when people come from a different line of work and they go into artwork, it's different from a person who started in artwork altogether and did nothing else. I know for me personally, when I look at the operations planning and the various factors I learned from the military and government work as well. Workflows and process improvement was a never-ending thing. It's always about creating that operational cycle. That's always what's the faster way to get to your end state.
Yeah.
Did you employ any of that by chance? Because I mean, like you're so prolific. If you're doing 2 or 3 miniatures a day, you are cooking with gas at that point.
Well, let's see. I definitely have like a means of getting to like an endpoint with every single miniature. I wouldn't say it's so far as like making like a 5-paragraph off order level of planning, but basically, what it comes down to is whenever I have a new project before me, it always starts with first. If let's say it's a creature that actually there's artwork of it that exists, I would have the artwork in front of me and I would spend a good maybe 30 seconds, a minute, just analyzing like, okay, how would I go about doing this? How would it be 3D printed? And what level of detail do I need to make this? Because if a thing is like this big, a little bitty thing, then you don't need to get crazy on like fur and stuff. But if it's a large size creature, huge, gargantuan, if it's a big thing, you're going to have to crank out some details. So the first stage is always looking at it, analyzing it, seeing how I'd get there. And then following that is actually going about the workflow of modeling it. So getting the source images, the artwork needed to have next to it if I'm going to make something. If it's from scratch, then make sure that my notes are written down somewhere where it's like, this is what I wanted to do. And then the modeling portion comes next. And then once the modeling is actually done, then comes the other half of the work, which is actually making it 3D printable. So that means putting it into a slicing program, seeing where the supports might be a problem, going back, refining, seeing if like things are even showing up. Sometimes things are so small that like fingers won't even show up, and it's like, oh, okay, I got to make the fingers fatter, etc.
It's all about chunkiness on the model. It seems like.
Yeah, I like the idea that like every single miniature I make has these really nice thick gloves, But then it's the other a very important portion of my work, which is the actual social media aspect of this. If anybody wants to be a successful artist online, you need to have a social media presence. So you post things on, when you're done, post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram, post it on Reddit, post it everywhere. And it's a process, and I've pretty much been at it for quite some time. And the thing is that what's important about why I got to this point was because before I made the leap to become self-employed this way, I was doing this daily as a government employee. When I got home from work, I'd crack open some wine, and I'd model for 2-3 hours because it was just what I did when I wanted to relax. Put some music on in the background, maybe watch a stream of like some Ack Inc thing or something, and I would just enjoy it because this is what I really love doing. And so yeah, 4 years, well, technically 5, really, like 5 years straight of just coming home. It's like, you know what, crack knuckles, let me go make some art. Okay, let me go do something else. Like, you do that for a couple of years, you're gonna have a process. So
and you're going to get skill. right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
are you familiar with the 10,000 hours concept?
Yeah, I've definitely surpassed the 10,000
Yeah,
hour thing
yeah,
at this point. Like I never actually did the calculation, but I know that I'm way past it now. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What the for those who don't know, the 10,000 hours is basically the once you've performed a complex task for at least 10,000 hours, at that point you typically achieve mastery of that task in a very real and meaningful manner. And only a very few people focus on tasks so consistently that they get 10,000 hours in on that task. So if the joke is musicians like the Beatles or Eric Clapton early on in their careers did these stints together as a band, or Eric Clapton in his case, just everywhere, where they played for over 10,000 hours in like a year. And so in that year, they became this fully bonded band. In the case of individuals, like Eric Clapton or say yourself as an artist, you became very, very effective at the nuances of everything that you're doing. I mean, you're digitally sculpting, and there's some nuance there. There's also some efficiencies there that you also learned over time. And you probably made more than a few mistakes in that first 10,000 hours as well, and learned how not to make them, for the most part, consistently as well, or recover from them. That's one of the benefits of digital sculpting. You can hit the undo button more than a few times too. So.
Yeah. So I actually took out a calculator while you were explaining.
Oh,
And,
you did?
yeah, it looks like I'm actually pretty low. I'm at 3,360. So not quite there yet. Still got
Yeah,
a ways to go.
you still haven't done something truly spectacular yet.
Yeah. Nah, that's nonsense. I'm pretty sure I'm there, but whatever.
Yeah.
But because it's not every day I did 2 hours. Some hours, some days I did more and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wait. A year of me doing it for 8 hours a day. Whatever. Anyway, the point is,
I think you're there. You're there.
I think we're probably
Yeah.
there.
So when you fell into this and you became this full-time artist, did you have any panic points? Like,
I wouldn't say panic points, but definitely just like getting nervous. It's usually every month around the 4th through the. No, wait, that's not right.
when the
Usually,
Patreon hits?
yeah. Usually, like the first 5 days of the month are usually the most like nerve-wracking because everybody's Patreon does this, where it grows, but then the first of the month hits, and then you take a little bit of a dive because most people who sign on to Patreon, they want to support an artist, they want to make sure this person is successful, but there are people who look at it as like a tipping function where it's like they just want to support this artist just for this month to, thank them for what they did, and then they move on. It's totally fine. But the dive that you get at the first of the month is usually from the people who just wanted to just do it for that month and, move on to the next artist they want to support. So those first 5 days are very stressful because you see a dive and you're like, what's going on? Did I mess up? Did I piss off a lot of people? But then about 10 days into the month, it starts to level off and starts growing again. What I've done, I started this about maybe 9 months ago, is just don't look at it for the first 10 days of the month. Just don't look. Post, but do this when you post things. And usually by the middle of the month, you check your numbers and you're fine. It's fine. It's, maybe it's not as a huge amount that you'd want, but it's okay. So that's probably like the most nerve-wracking part, is just the monthly first 10 days of the month where you're just like, don't look.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, and your Patreon is MZ4250. So anyone who's checking out his Patreon, you can go to MZ4250. Definitely check him out, because can you go ahead and toot your own horn a little bit. Tell people what they get on your Patreon. It's okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So while all of my work is free for everybody to enjoy, it's always been that way for 6 years. People who want to support my Patreon, what you get is you get the convenience of having a Google Drive link that has all 2,400 of my models in one place, which is nice. So you get access to my personal Google Drive, so you can basically have everything in one place. All the pre-supported files are there, which I can't post everywhere online because I've been doing this for so long. So you get them all in one spot too. The higher tier patrons, you get access to a separate commercial ready drive. So if you want to sell some of my stuff, you're welcome to. Caveat, you can't sell all of my stuff. There's about 1,000 models that are based off of the intellectual property of other entities that you can't sell. Like I shared them for free specifically for that reason. Mm-hmm. But there are still about 1,400 models that are nobody owns. Like nobody owns vampires, nobody owns goblins, nobody owns dragons. So those models are safe. And if you want to make an extra buck, you can do that too. There's also a Discord. There's a request board. I host contests, and it's just a nice way of supporting an artist. So that's my Patreon. Yay! So there you go. That's me.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Over 2,400 models. If I counted that up right. Mm-hmm. That's a prolific catalog of minis.
Yeah.
I know I'm definitely going to check it out after the show today.
Thanks.
And we're just we're not as institutionally set as you are, and we just started our Patreon this year as well, and we're just still trying to figure out things. So I think some good advice on not looking at it for the first 10 days of every month is probably worth it.
Yeah.
What about you post literally every day new stuff, and you're also on Twitch at MZ4250 as well. So people who want to watch you actually work. Mm-hmm. When you're broadcasting, they can do that.
Yep.
And that's actually how we came across you in the first place. Cool. Besides your social media, and we spend time occasionally saying hi in chats and stuff too. But it's amazing watching you work. Can you share a little bit with us? The programs or the method. I mean, like, are you using like a touch panel, or how are you just using a mouse click and going through there? Or
yeah. So when it comes to the tools, I just use a mouse and I use my keyboard, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. There are touchpad methods of doing what I do. I've just been so used to doing it with a mouse and keyboard that, doing it with a touchpad, with a drawing pad, like it wouldn't really add anything at this point. So I just do it with that. The programs that I use Blender for my 3D modeling. Mm-hmm. Blender is a free modeling program, and I think 2.9 is the latest version right now. I still use 2.79 only just because I'm used to it, and the modeling that I do can be done with like Maya 0.1, so you don't need anything really like complicated to do what I do. When it comes to slicing, which is the program you use to prepare a file for printing, mm-hmm. I use Prusa Slicer. Really, really solid program. Excellent automated support function inside that one. There's still some tweaking that I did about for my own personal use, but it's pretty good. Windows 3D Builder.
You use
another free program. Yeah. I use Windows 3D Builder to inspect an STL file before I prep it for printing. It does a very good job of just correcting any errors, because when you export an STL file from Blender, sometimes these little errors are just created that you can't spot. Like it's impossible for the human eye to see them, but apparently they're there. So Windows Builder fixes that. That's about it. Yeah, those are the three major programs that I use to do my workflow. And yeah, they're all free and they're great. So it's nice. And
you went to a 3D art degree program. Where did you go for that? Just out of curiosity. Like,
yeah, I went.
Who's the program of choice?
Well, I went to William Patterson University in Jersey to get my degree in art. If you were to do this professionally, you would need to learn how to use Maya if you wanted to like actually have something on your resume, because that's what I learned. Although 3D Studio Max is also a really good thing to have on your resume. So that's what if you wanted to actually like get a job in the industry somewhere. You would also need to learn a program called ZBrush, which is really, really good for just getting textures down and stuff. Blender can do everything that ZBrush and Maya can do, which is why I really enjoy using it. But yeah, those are the two programs that you need to learn if you want to like actually have a resume to show off to Pixar or whoever. Obviously, all the Adobe programs you need to know too. So, you need to know Photoshop and After Effects, things like that. So, yeah, those are the things you would need to learn. I don't use those programs, obviously, because I'm just focusing on modeling and printing. But, it's good to have in your resume.
One of the things that I've noticed is the change in direction. And I came up, in full disclosure, I used to work for a company called Games Workshop, and I've got quite a few experiences working with miniatures production and stuff like that, and using vulcanized rubber molds and silicone and stuff. And there's far better people at actually making that stuff than I am. But I know how it's done, and I know enough to know when something's not going to work well because it has a bad undercut, or it's not going to work well for a 2-part mold. And then you start getting into plastic injection molding, and you get to next level stuff there too. But one of the things that's really a game changer in terms of miniatures with dynamic poses that look, normal or correct, 3D printing has really taken it. I suppose in the last 3 to 5 years, especially, has really hit the next level. That at this point now, it's putting traditional miniatures production methodologies at risk, right? Per se, like you don't need, unless you're mass producing thousands upon thousands of miniatures for a segment, and for, believe me, up until 5 years ago, even 4 years ago, I was saying there's no way. 3D printing is great and all, but it's just not there. In the last year or so, I'm now like looking at it going, I think it's there. It's now changing the dynamics where people can literally print up what they need at home.
So I would say a little bit of yes and no to what you just said, because while it's true that the resin printers, for instance, DLP printers, like a level of detail and quality that they can create is really fantastic. But I don't think that the pre-made, pre-printed stuff that can be pumped out by miniature design, miniature creation companies is going to go away anytime soon, because with 3D printing your own thing, the level of work that's involved is you have to find the model, then you have to print it, which involves making supports, if it's pre-supported, making sure it's running properly in your slicing program, then printing it, which could take 2 hours, it could take 4 hours, it could take 30 hours if it's this massive print. And then after that, it's removing all the supports and finalizing the print, and then priming it, and then painting it. And you're looking at roughly about, maybe in total, it could be between 36 to 45 hours of work to get one thing done. Meanwhile, you got this awesome pre-printed, pre-made miniature that you just go on Amazon, click order, and then it's sent to you. So I think that both of these entities are going to continue to coexist next to each other, because it's just like, do I make my own lasagna or do I just do this takeout? I really don't want to deal with this right now. It's the same thing. So no, 3D printing is not going to take away the pre-made stuff, and the pre-made stuff is just continue to be as high quality as it is. 3D printing is baking your own food and buying the stuff that's already made for you. That's the takeout. It's never going to go away. So I don't think that there's going to be any major existential crisis when it comes to what Gamers Workshop or WizKids or whatever it creates. They're going to still be as profitable as they always will be, because it is a lot of work to get one thing done and one mini done. So I think they're both going to be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I find that to be interesting, because I think that the other side to that is that once it starts running and printing, especially if they're doing like orcs, and they need several of them, right? It's running in the background. When you look at the time versus also the speed at which people are making these purchases of miniatures within their budget and time constraints as well, there's a time flow of when products are released versus when people are, set up to buy that product and so on. I don't disagree with you. I think you make a very good case about, there is a lot more extra time in there and labor, and then you have to buy the printer in the first place, which is often an obstacle and barrier to entry for a lot of people in and of itself. So You definitely made some great points on there, but I definitely see some chipping away of the industry from what we saw before.
Well, it's definitely transformed from now in comparison to 4 years ago. So
Hmm.
I think we should just reevaluate in 4 years and then go from there.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
What about have any of these sculpting companies approached you to try to like get you to come to work for them?
No, no, no. I've never been really like approached by like any major entity for any like significant projects. Actually, wait, no, that's not true. There were a handful. Um, but in the end, it would have just taken away from the like level of creative freedom that I have right now. So I usually never like just went for anything serious. And then I get requested commissions like almost all the time, but I don't have the time. I really don't. I've a set workflow and a set amount of things that I want to get done. And I know that if I were to try to work for something professionally or start doing commission work, like I would not be creating the amount of things I'm creating right now. So I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, what's your current most exciting projects that you're thrilled to discuss with us today?
Actually, I just finished it. I need to send some pics to you, but
Yeah.
I just updated all of my dragons from 5 years ago. So all of the chromatic dragons and
Mm-hmm.
metallic dragons from D&D, along with Tiamat and Bahamut, I just updated them, and that was about 2 months of work, and oof, it was a doozy because when I started making these, I decided, you know what? one one pose of a dragon might not work for somebody else's concept of what they want. So what I did was with every single dragon, I made multiple ages and multiple poses that could be swapped around depending on what somebody liked. So there was always a pose of the dragon on all fours, kind of like a predatory, like a prowling
Crouch.
cat, like a
Yeah.
crouch, about to like pounce on something. I made a pose where it's just glorious. The wings are out. It's just like I am a dragon. Look at me. And then a middle pose where it's like maybe on hind legs and it's like attacking, maybe like taking a swipe at something. And then I made a wormling pose. Well, the wormlings looked like actual baby dragons, so that you can't swap those. But all the wormlings look like puppies, like really happy dogs. So they all had either like a play bow pose, or like just had their tongue out and just looking curious, or maybe like napping. But so yeah, so each dragon was about 8 different models because I also made flying poses too.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
yeah, so I went pretty much all out. And along with the poses, I also had to make sure that each dragon was FDM friendly or resin friendly. I made sure I made pre-supported files for each of the dragons that could fit in the resin printer. So each dragon was about like 18, maybe 20 hours of work. And obviously, there was one day that I did the entire Blue Dragon, which was about 17 hours. And then I was just like, wow, I am not doing that again. That was a
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
Because when I was done and I posted it, and I was just like, oh my God, that was awful. Why didn't I just do that in 2 days?
Yeah.
So, so it was a lot of work, but I'm happy that, yeah, all the dragons, they are completely updated, and I'm pretty happy about that.
I think
And
I tuned into one of them when you were putting skeleton infrastructure into. I think it was a red dragon,
yeah, yeah.
and I asked you, do you do the skeletons first or the flesh and outer body first? And you said, nope.
Hmm.
You actually sculpt the model and then you put the skeleton into it, which I was like, oh, that's surprising. I didn't know that. You know.
Yeah, yeah. You make the model first, make sure it's at a very neutral pose, and then you put the skeleton in so you can make whatever poses you want. But yeah, yeah. So I just finished the dragons, and next month I'm just looking forward to getting back to updating my original monster manual models, and then I got time, throw in some requests from some patrons, because I have this request board on my Patreon where people just put weird random things on there, and I make them happen. And so yeah, so it'll be fun.
Okay. What's the weirdest thing you think you've done so far?
God, I made a lot of weird things.
Oh, you look at the Monster Manual or Volo's.
No, those are tame compared to
Yeah.
some of the things that my patrons send me. I made a skeleton dude, a skeleton butler. That was kind of fun. Like
Oh.
he had a nice top hat. He had like a tray with tea. He was pretty cool looking.
Mhm.
Just really weird stuff. Man, there was an orc ballerina. That was kind of interesting. What else was there? There was this goblin king who wears a bee costume. That was fun. Yeah, that was weird. What else was there? Yeah, there's a lot. And then there was the invisible ninja, which was really just a miniature token, and he just wanted an invisible miniature token. That was a joke, but whatever, it's invisible. Yeah, it's just a lot of really random stuff. So yeah, they always throw random things out there, and I love it. So yeah.
If people wanted to find you on social media, where would they find you?
Yeah, I'm MZ4250 everywhere. So
Okay.
Twitter, Instagram, and just so y'all know, the reason why I chose that username is it's literally just my first initials and 4 random numbers I just chose. That's all it is. There's no story behind it. I'm literally just all right, good enough. Like, and it just kind of stuck with it because it's been 6 years and I'm not going to change it now.
Okay. It reminds me of a lot of things on duffel bags. That's all I'm saying.
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What about what's the future hold for you at this point in terms of what are you thinking is, I mean, like, I know that you just wrapped up the dragons and all, and you're looking forward to kind of getting back to the regular grind of some of the stuff you like to work on. But what do you think is the big thing coming up for you in the future, if anything?
Well, it's not going to be myself who's going to be like implementing this, but I know that VR and augmented reality are going to become much bigger as, people either they have to stay home because of the pandemic or because, they want to game with their friends that are now working overseas. So VR and augmented reality are going to continue to be a more serious thing. So I'm going to make sure that my files are available and ready for people who want to create VR games and such and so forth. An STL file can be turned into an OBJ file very easily. So I want to make sure that my stuff eventually is fully available and accessible for anybody who wants to do VR games and use my files for that. So I'm looking forward to helping with those efforts. I'm not going to mention names because I don't think I'm allowed to yet, but there was a couple of companies that are starting augmented reality apps, and they are using my commercial friendly files specifically for that. So I'm pretty happy that I'm going to be helping.
I think I know who 2 of those companies might be. At least one of the 2 companies for sure.
Yeah. I should have asked them first. Whatever. Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, I'm looking forward to helping with the augmented and virtual reality gaming tabletop options once they become more and more prolific. So it'd be nice.
Outstanding. That's very forward looking and very smartly so, I think. Well, Miguel, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Is there anything else you want to tell everybody, or is there like any funny stories or anything else you want to tell? Anything at all?
There's nothing PG I could tell.
Well, luckily we are not considered a child's show. It's called the Games Tavern Happy Hour.
Yeah, nice.
But that hey, we don't need to get into anything too graphic.
Nah. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Any funny anecdotes? I'm just I'm enjoying my work. I'm happy that it's stable at least, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. My stuff will always be free no matter what. But if people want to support an artist, that's where the Patreon's for. So we'll see.
All right, and you can check their Patreon out at MZ4250. This is Miguel. He's amazing. Over 2,400 models and counting. And
I just want to say, none of it could have been done if it wasn't for my amazing, perfect, and beautiful wife in every way. She is in the other room. She has her headphones on. She can't hear me.
That's okay, because when we come back, she'll be watching this sometime live on the Games Tavern Happy Hour next week. Or actually 2 weeks from now. It'll be 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, no, but seriously, jokes aside, like, if it weren't for my wife, like, this would have never happened. So
Yeah,
awesome.
I can tell you from seeing you guys both in social media, she's like a champion for you and a great one at that. And obviously, she's the one who encouraged you to come back to 3D printing. So we thank her too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Miguel, we'll see you online, and we'll come back in just a few minutes. Thanks a lot, everybody. Hey gang, good to see everybody back again. So as you can tell, Miguel is awesome to talk to, really easygoing guy. I love to shout out. If you get a chance, check out his Twitch channel at MZ4250. That's twitch.tv/MZ4250. He's typically on during the day, where he talks about the various different things that he's working on. And you can see him work on the screen. It's very interesting if you're on during the day. Here in U.S. time. In the evening, European time, check it out. And then definitely check him out on Twitter. He's got over 2,400 minis already sculpted. They're all free, but he gets great support because of all the work he's doing. If you can support him, by all means, check it out and give him some support. If you love good minis, he's a great guy to support. And he does take requests. He doesn't do commissions, but he does see what the audience out there is looking for and tries to hit the ones that the most people want. So if you have a request, it's a great way to find him and get to know him and, well, pick up some cool minis. Let's see what else we got today going on here. So we're going to take another quick short break. When we come back, we're going to be showing you a product that we use around the Games Tavern to clean up a little bit and makes our life a lot easier when we're doing some of our paint work. So your palettes and your paint cups, a great way to clean them up without destroying them. So bear with us. We're going to be right back. We're back. Hopefully you guys are excited. We've got some great stuff ready to go. So we do a lot of painting around here at the Games Tavern and on that Minis Paint Show in particular, which you can see on Sundays. typically around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was cleaning out some paint cups the other day, and I was thinking some of the things that we do to do that it might be very helpful to show you guys why we use it and how it gets used and some of that stuff. So we kind of recorded a short review for you guys to watch and check it out for yourself. So without further ado, let's just go right into it, shall we? Hey there. I'm talking to you today about something that we all have to deal with as painters, and that's getting the gunk out of your paint cup. So to kind of put an example, I'm going to show this here on the table cam there so you guys can see that. This is one of my paint cups. You may have seen it from some of the shows. I use dry erase marker often to write if it's color or metallics. You can see the paint cup itself is just full of dried in gunk and other paint. So what is the problem when we're trying to clean one of these bad boys out? Well, the problem is that I would scrape for a long time on this stuff, and at one point in time I had to figure out what was a way to clean these things easily. Now I can soak these things in hot water for about an hour and still put some elbow grease in there, but there is something that I do use that helps me get stuff out pretty quickly, and that stuff is called LA's Totally Awesome. Now I'm not selling or hawking LA's Totally Awesome. This is a product I actually use. They're not paying me for any of this. It was just one of those tricks that we figured out thanks to some other friends in the hobby who turned me onto this stuff, and I've used it for everything from cleaning cups and pallets to stripping models, metal ones mostly, of paint as needed. So LA's Totally Awesome. So how do you use it? Well, it's pretty simple. You pour some LA's Totally Awesome in the cup. You let it sit for about an hour or two. Run some hot water in there. Let it sit for another few minutes, and then take a Brillo pad or a sponge and just wipe it out. For the most part, it takes care of everything that you've got in there. So what we're going to show next is exactly how we're going to do that. We're just going to pour some in this cup, go into a sink area, and show you guys how easy it is to clean it out. All right, so we've come into the bathroom. We're going to use that on the same mug that I showed you before. LA's Totally Awesome. So I've already got some open stuff right here that I've used to clean out some of the stuff earlier. I'm just going to pour a little bit in and let the magic happen. From here, typically what I do is I'll use one of these to clean it out right after I get it to soak a little bit. The stuff works very fast. I've never had any real major problems with it. A little dab will do you, and just let it sit, and it'll clean it right out. And you can dilute it too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some hot water. As soon as it gets hot, we're going to have that pour in here a little bit. Let me see what we can get off here right now live with you guys. Let that warm up. The reason I like hot water is it causes the cup itself to expand at a different rate than the paint expands. So that also helps pop any dug-in paint that's dried and locked in at the curvature or the angles on the cup itself. Because both materials expand at different rates, it means that they're more prone to separate. And the minute they start separating, the LA's Totally Awesome starts to get between it as well, which is also really useful. Almost there. From here, I'll also take some time and go ahead and wipe off the color off the mug. That's the great part about dry erase markers. They come right off. And the reason I label color on one and metallics on another, just in case you don't remember or you're unfamiliar with what we do with that, is we rinse our metallics in one cup and our colors in another to keep metallics from getting onto our color and our paint later on. Almost there. Okay, thanks to the modern miracles of editing film, we were able to cut short all that long, lengthy wait of waiting for the water to warm up, and we're just going to go right to town. So just in case you can't see it, hopefully you can in the angle here, we've got the LA's Totally Awesome inside the mug where it's soaked in a bit. And we're going to add just a little bit of water, and from there we're going to then take this Brillo pad and just wipe it in. When we started, remember there was stuff that was just stuck all over it, all the way down where it's dried multiple times from rinsing paint. And this was my colors cup, so it had plenty of colors in it. Let me do a quick rinse, pour, and just one more to wipe out there. Yeah. And from here, I did 2 wipes, basically. You saw me just swirl it around in a big circle a couple different times all the way around, and then you saw me rinse and pour everything out. Just doing a final rinse, and then if you take a look, you will see that the cup is completely clean. Now I'm going to rinse it for an extended period of time to get the LA's Totally Awesome out of it, because I don't want that on my paint either. But from there, we've totally cleaned out the cup, and we've totally provided a completely clean surface for everybody to use. Ta-da! Okay, so coming back in from the bathroom, the only thing I did is just give it a quick dry out, but as you can see, the inside of the mug is completely clean. You can also see that on the paint cam or the cam table here, table cam here as well. And that is LA's Totally Awesome. Again, this product is great. You can find it at most stores. It's yellow in color. It's LA Totally Awesome. If you get a chance to take a look at it. The great part about it is this stuff comes from the dollar store. So any dollar store should carry it. It's a fantastic product. I love the listings of stuff it does. Grease, wine, liquor, gum, oil, varnish, paint, of course paint, hair dye, food stains, grape juice, berry juice, blood stains, because apparently that's important too, and many, many more. You can dilute this. You don't have to pour it straight in like I do. Diluting it's perfectly okay. 1-to-1 dilution mixture should be more than sufficient to clean most stuff if you let it sit for a few hours. It's fantastic. Again, check it out. LA's Totally Awesome. Fantastic product. Dollar store. Same place where we buy our paint mugs. Dollar store. It's all you need for your paint mugs. Dollar store paint mugs. Have an awesome day, everyone. Bam! All right. Exciting. Boom. All right. Hey, we've got the last few minutes of our show here tonight. Just trying to get set up and make sure everybody's excited about it. I'm kind of excited too. LA's Totally Awesome. To be honest, after we had put the stuff in the cup, probably within 2 minutes, almost everything that was on the outer wall of it was already clean. It was the stuff that was at the very bottom that really needed the good soak. We probably could have done it with a little bit less of that stuff and some warm water and just let it sit for an hour. So just a little bit of warm water, a little bit of LA's Totally Awesome. Most of it takes care of all of it. For those of you guys in chat mentioning Purple Power, Purple Power will work. Good for metal miniatures in particular if you're trying to strip paint off and stuff like that. Purple Power definitely should be diluted if you're using it in the same white mugs that we use. Just to, and make sure you rinse the holy daylights out of it, because that stuff is very, very good at what it does, and unfortunately it also stays on there pretty good too. So just make sure you get it cleaned off really, really good when you use this stuff. Same with LA's Totally Awesome. You do need to rinse it. You don't want that stuff in your paint water when you rinse. It will go in. With Purple Power, definitely wear gloves. LA's Totally Awesome, completely natural, biodegradable. I mean, I wouldn't soak my hands in it for hours, but getting a little bit on your skin, rinsing it right off, no problems really, hardly at all. Good question, Lost Polymath. Really appreciate that. So, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and decide the winner of the raffle. So here we go. This is for a Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Remember, we talked about all sorts of cool news today. If you haven't given D&D Beyond a check out at dndbeyond.com, please do so. Take a look at it and go give them some support, because they've been such great sponsors for us. So here we go. We're going to pick the winner right now, and it is JS Army 421. JS Army 421, you are the winner of our D&D Beyond Digital Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. What we're going to do is we're going to shoot a message to you guys in chat. If you're not already on our Discord, I highly recommend joining it. You can talk to us throughout the week on all sorts of different subjects. Join our Discord when you get a chance. It's that easy. You just click that link in chat and you'll be joining it up right away. And if you've never joined Discord, hit us up. We'll walk you through it. It's not a problem. We're always a huge, helpful community. Also, we also have a Patreon, and our Patreon is quite awesome as well. We're going to link that in chat for you. Our Patreon recently added some additional things like battle maps, and we're looking at adding some additional features for those people that are really interested in only certain things, so possibly some different tiers. Talk to us on Discord when you get a chance. We'd love to hear what you want to see on our Patreon, but right now you can get things like Dungeon Master's notes or Game Master's notes from people like Grant Ellis, myself. There's new battle maps available. There's some really cool props and letters from our live play shows, The Velkin Weave and Whiskey, Magic, and Destruction. And you'll also hear about some other cool things too. So when you guys get a chance, join us in the Discord, talk to us about these different cool things, and check out our Patreon when you get a chance. Give us some support there. And tell us what you want and don't want in your Patreon to help you with your tabletop games. Thanks again for watching the news today. JS Army 421. I'm going to be having one of our people give you a whisper if they haven't already. And we'll be talking to you shortly about these various different things. Definitely really cool to give that Tasha's Cauldron of Everything just to you. Absolutely excited to see you get that. And thanks again, guys. Really appreciate the support, the subs, the bits, everything you guys did, and the raid from Big Bearded Nerd. Really appreciate Big Bearded Nerd for raiding us tonight. And, big thanks to everybody in chat. 73556MO8, Christian RP Editing, Lost Polymath, Dirt Track Chick, Dice Ogre, JS Army 421, Lily 42, and the Action Sturge, Wizard of DC, and X3 No Morph, or Xenomorph, underscore 006. You know who you are. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will see you guys next week on Tuesday. And don't forget tomorrow to check out the Velkin Weave, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the party embarks on the next phase of its adventure.